Hey friends, welcome back to Magus of the Frog. Today we are going to be optimizing our list for our Rakdos deck that we've been playing in Standard before playing some games, of course. Now, this is something that I just wanted to do a bit differently and start introducing some deck building principles into my videos, as well as have a way to start getting better at editing videos and increasing the quality of them. So, hope you don't mind. So, we're only going to focus on a few list optimization principles here. One, we're going to look at our interaction. What tools do we have to compete in the current metagame? And then two, do we have the proper land count? Can our deck function consistently? And then last but certainly not least, the core synergy of the deck. Do we have a consistent game plan? So let's start with interaction here. We are playing Rakdos, so interaction comes in the form of black base removal, which destroy or exile, such as cut down or go for the throat, or red base removal that are damage based. So it's something like burst lightning or lightning strike. And the way they differ really is that black offers coverage and red offers reach. So black gives you a lot of different answers to a wide range of the metagame, which is why Dimir and Golgari are popular decks. And then red offers you reach because a lot of your damage spells will also go to the opponent's face. So if you're very fast, like the mono red or Gruul or Boros decks, having a reach just adds that little bit of oomph to your deck that really is great in shoring up your game plan. So we are a sacrifice deck. We're not as fast as the red deck, so we're going to stick with black here. And in terms of card count, what we're going to do is I looked at MTG Top 8 and a lot of the decks that are using black base removal, such as Dimir, and then counting on average how much removal that they have. And it turns out Dimir has an average of 10.2 removal spells, and then Golgari has an average of 11.3. Now, something to keep in mind is that Dimir also has this wonderful game plan of stun counters in Kaito and Floodpit's Drowners. So even if they don't have as much removal as Golgari, they do have a great pseudo removal tempo game plan there. So really cool to say. And I really am gonna, I looked back at our list, the Rakdos list, and we've been playing 6 to 8 removal spells, so we're gonna have to increase the count there. All right, next we're gonna look at land count, and there's a very simplified formula that you can use to determine what to use, how many lands to use. Where what you do is you get the average mana value of your deck, especially the main board, you multiply it by 1.9, and then you add 19.59. This is, of course, coming from the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Karsten, with his wonderful article, How Many Lands Do You Need in Your Deck, up in Channel Fireball. I'll put a link in the description if you want a more comprehensive read here. It's one of the articles that I have just bookmarked. And so what we do is we usually build our decks in Moxfield. So what Moxfield is great for is showing me exactly what the average mana value of the main deck is. So here you can see it's 1.28 with lands, but the important number here is 2.08 without lands. And when we put that into the formula there, it tells us that a good number of lands to have is 23.542. So that's going to be really good in making sure that our deck functions consistently. Another thing that I really like about Moxfield is it tells you the average number of lands you have in the opening hand. In this case, it's 2.68. So as long as the average number of lands, 2.68, is higher than the average mana value of your main deck, 2.08, then that means you're mulliganing less. RNG is a big part of Magic and what makes it a great strategy game. But, you want to reduce the amount of times you have those frustrating mulligans or multifor where, you're really hampering yourself. So land count's very important here. And then last but not least, we're going to look at core synergy. And so what I've decided is I'm going to go with 10 interaction slots and I'm going with 23 lands. So these were in the lower end of the ranges of what I just talked about in the previous slides. And really, the reason is because we are not just a pile of good cards, we are a synergistic deck. So we want to make sure we're going to be a bit greedy here and making sure that we have as many slots as we can spare for our core synergy. So 10 plus 23 is 33, which means we have a remainder of 27 slots in our 60 card deck here to save for, in our case, sacrifice fodder and sacrifice outlets. So let's actually move towards the game here, and let me show you what we got working on for this initial iteration of optimization. So here's our 10 removal spells that we're going to go with. I got 3 Eaten Alive, 2 Anoint with Affliction, 3 Go for the Throat, and 2 Nowhere to Run. So just great coverage here in terms of the types of things we can remove, but we are all ultimately relying on just black-based removal. Here's our 23 lands. Now, I didn't go into the color counts, but we have more than enough to cast our spells. We got 17 red sources and 21 black sources, allowing us to play a single, maybe even a second copy if we really wanted to, of Fountain Port, since this does offer a sacrifice fodder and sacrifice outlet for a land, which is great in our deck here. Okay, so let's look at the remainder 27 here. Let me start with the fodder. We've got for our 1-drops, Forsaken Miner and Infestation Sage. For our 2-drops, things that don't mind dying, Vengeful Blood Witch, and we're going to be trying out Vraan, Executioner Thane here. Just a more powerful version of the Blood Witch here. And then, of course, we've got our trusty Seer Slicer Goblin. And then I'm also going to be trying out Undead Sprinter here. Doesn't mind dying. It's got haste and can keep coming back if they don't exile it. And then this is just such a great card. The Forge counts as fodder and an outlet because it consistently sacrifices the token at the end step. So that's about 19 cards there for fodder. And then for sacrifice outlets, we've got 2 Terran's Journal. We've got 3 Forges, and then 3 Predators. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the Fountain Port. And then Alicia doesn't really fit into fodder or the outlet, but it's just a great synergistic card for our deck. It allows us to recur stuff and is great at attacking. So we've got a good balance here of, fodder and outlets. You don't want too many outlets without having a lot of things to sacrifice. And, as I mentioned earlier, we're playing in a metagame that has a lot of removal. So a lot of your stuff will be dying anyway. So you don't need that many things to sacrifice them to. So this is kind of the concept that we have going on in this initial optimization. And the sideboard, I'm going to save this discussion for another time. This is a very important part to the optimization. And just briefly, we can either use the sideboard to strengthen our game plan here or provide coverage against other decks, or in my case, what I'm doing is it's to shore up the various weaknesses of the deck. A lot of the things that can get us, like temporary lockdown, we have to rely on things like duress in order to deal with it before it even arrives into the battlefield. So I'll save a sideboard conversation for next time, but now you kind of have an idea of what are the things I think about when looking to optimize a list. And today we focused on card count, and we're going to see how well we do. We're testing some new cards, like I mentioned, but just wanted to say, hey, thanks for being here. I know it's a bit of a different intro. Would really appreciate your thoughts on it. So drop us a like, drop a comment, and of course a subscription. This is me holding my hands together. If you don't mind, it would be so lovely to have it. But nevertheless, just happy that you're here. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the traditional standard event. Once again, I'm going to play 5 games. And yeah, I'll see you round 1. Let's get it. Okay, round one here. This looks like a keepable hand, I think. Um, we are on the draw, so I don't mind having no one drop here. Let's keep. Got a removal spell. We got some threats, and then a third land will get us Forge. Oh boy, Boros. Okay, so we'll just show them a swamp first and then pass here. So this could be the Boros Auras deck. Very, very strong. Indeed it is. Okay, so we have to be mindful that they play something like Shard Mage's Rescue. And I think I'm actually gonna go with Vraan here. So that, one, we're developing our board, and then we can start the Forge next turn once we start, what do you call it? Creating tokens. And oh boy, we got a triple Scavenger opener here. Do they have a removal for Vraan? Oh, they're gonna start. You're just gonna use their, what do you call it? Rescue right away here. We don't mind this as much because we're gonna be gaining life because of the Forge. Okay, so I think I'm gonna be mana efficient here and play the Forge. They're not gonna block it. And then we get to drain them. So Vraan already kind of showing the power here. And then hoping to draw a second land. Oh, that's going to be super juicy to kill. We are going to take a lot of damage here. Okay, here comes 9 damage, and they could very well have a, what do you call it? A Shard Mage Rescue. So it's really good that we drew a land here so we can double spell. So what we're going to do is we're going to still go through the motions and go attack with this. Okay, we can either Eaten Alive now to try and get rid of this. That might be better. I can also just pass here and have it drain. And then I'll do the double removal spell here on their turn. Ooh, okay, here comes a pacifism. And looks like they're all putting it on the Scavenger here, and now's our time. Here comes a go for the throat. And then if they're going to enchant this, well, we're going to anoint with Affliction here. Let's see. We'll take 1. And then next turn we got Forge plus the Predator. Yeah, this might be game, but I think I'm going to do the Journal instead. So attack them for 3 here, and then I'll sacrifice this token to drain them for 2 and draw a card. Ooh, and we got an Infestation Sage, which we can use to just remove their Scavenger here. We don't get a second version, second trigger of Vraan there, because this only happens once per turn. But yeah, we've gained quite a bit of life here. Oh, and this doesn't really matter. Yep, we've got the Predator here. We're making 4 damage. And then we can kill them on their turn. Okay. I'm going to sacrifice this. Oh, sorry. I'm going to sacrifice this to draw a card. Drain them for 2. And then I'll do the same at their upkeep here. Okay, and their upkeep, I'll sacrifice this to drain them for 2. Very nice. Ended up at 14 life still. Okay, so this is a deck that really tries and goes all in with a single or 2 creatures. So stuff like Twisted Fealty will be quite good here. I can also be very gutsy and play Pyroclasm if they end up going wide, but not for now. I don't think so. I think the discard spells will be quite good here. Like, obviously, Nowhere to Run is amazing. And things like Seer Slicer Goblin is not actually that good in this deck, nor, in this matchup, nor Undead Sprinter. So we've got 3 cards here to work with. We can either go with discard, or we can go with a really great combat, spell here. I think I'm going to go with discard first, and I'll go against their threats and use Dreams of Steel and Oil. All right, let's see how game 2 goes. Okay, this is a good keep because we got a turn 1 Dreams, and then we can see how to navigate the next few turns here. We do take 1 damage from it though. Okay, no threat. Interesting. So they're waiting for a threat here. That's good to know, which means we don't mind playing this first. Okay, well, they've got no threat right now. Interesting. They're looking for a threat, which is why I think they just use that. Now we get to develop our board, and we start getting our sacrifice theme going here. And then look at our hand. It's just full of removal spell. I guess that's why people are playing 10 plus more removal spells in this metagame. Because you can just get hands like this. And then we got a better clock than them right now. So they need to deal with the Forge. So I don't think this works the way they think. Because this is an activated ability, a triggered ability, and not an activated ability. Okay, looks like they have an instant spell here. You know, we're not gonna use the Restless Vents here. Like, the Forge is a good enough clock. And I don't want to expose our Restless Vents to whatever it is they're holding up. And man, that's just a lot of removal spells. We've got so much coverage here. And then Nowhere to Run is really great against their deck because it invalidates Hexproof. And I don't mind drawing anything here, really. We have the clock going. Okay, they finally get something here. We are going to use our mana efficiently here and just try and kill stuff. Like, for example, we'll anoint this. And here's a rescue, which we will go for the throat. Ooh, and then we get an Alicia, which doesn't really do anything because we don't really have anything in our graveyard right now. So I'm just going to keep up removal. We have lethal next turn with the Forge on 6. And I just think we are way too ahead here. Okay, this will be an Anoint. And then a Nowhere to Run if they do Shard Mage. Yeah, this is just unfortunate for our opponent here. Okay, and then this should be lethal unless they have a removal spell. Alright, round 1 done. It looks like we ended up with 2 removal spells in our hands still, and you know, we used the Dreams of Steel and Oil to initially get a threat, but we saw nothing, and then the only threats that they drew were Inspiring Overseer and Giada. So not quite the Boros auras that you normally see that is very low to the ground. And so we just managed to have the tools to deal. I mean, it was really great that we had the Forge there. This served as our singular threat that allowed us to do 20 damage to them. All right, let's go next round. Okay, round 2 here. Lucky us, we are on the play. Can't keep this hand, unfortunately. Only 1 land. Okay, much better. We can either put back a 2-drop here or the Predator, which will take a while. I think I'm going to go with a 2-drop here and hope to get another land to eventually get the Predator. Let's see. I think I should have actually kept the Blood Witch because this is a red source that comes in tapped. Alright. Alright, well, we'll start with the Infestation Sage here and pass the turn. So, red-green, this could be Gruul Aggro. Okay. Unfortunately for us, we did pick the wrong card to keep here. So, if we had the Blood Witch, we could have had it down by now. Okay, this could be a Monstrous Rage. Ah, Might of the Meek. Okay. Well, we at least get a Goblin here. Let's see what they do here. Looks like they don't have green mana. And looks like they just drew that land for the turn. This could be another threat or something to deal with their Goblin. And we will block here. They'll either give it Trample. Okay. Do they give it Trample? No, they don't. So, no Monstrous Rage. Currently, right now we can play the Predator. So, I think I will not attack here. And I'll just develop my board by playing the Predator. So they didn't have Monstrous Rage. I think they would have played it last turn had they had it. But they could obviously still draw it. Okay, they finally have access to green mana. This could mean the Druid or Snakeskin Veil. Or maybe like a fight spell. So they sacrifice a creature with flying, but what we're going to do is we're actually going to sacrifice the Sage here to give us a flyer. Then they can use something like a Lightning Strike now. Okay, looks like we're able to survive a Lightning Strike. But okay, and then they can still get in with their Swift Spear here. So main deck, pick your poison. I respect it. There's a lot of cards that this can get. Okay, so we have Undead Sprinter into Sear Slicer Goblin. So that's really cool. So this tells me they have like a removal spell maybe? Like a Burst Lightning? based on the way that they're playing so far. Do they take 7? Oh, they do. Okay. And then we'll play the Goblin here. We do take 1 from our Sulphur Springs. And then we'll get a token here. They did have the Druid. So it looks like they have a lot of threats coming in. So they either develop their board or they start dealing with ours. They can't really do much of both because they are constrained on mana. Okay, yeah, they won't attack here. I was gonna say I was gonna trade with them if they did it. And let's see, I think we can Restless Vents here or keep a Fountain for it. But I think I will just be a bit aggro here and get rid of some of our lands that we have here. And then we'll attack with this, this, and this, I think. Yeah. And then discard this. Okay, and they will take all this damage then. I'll play this. And they now need something like Monstrous Rage to do at least 13 damage to us, because Trample is what they need here. So, against them, they are playing a lot of threats, and as weird as this is something that Pyroclasm would be good for. It's not something that they'd expect ever coming from us. So let's take that into consideration. We can either use Dreams of Steel and Oil or Duress to deal with their hand, or use Twisted Fealty to gain control of their creature. I think because they have stuff like Snakeskin Veil, stuff like this won't be as good. So let's instead attack them by going against their hand and something like Pyroclasm. Okay, so do I prefer Dreams of Steel and Oil or Duress? I think I prefer going against their threats. So we have to cut 5 cards here. I think we're going to go with our Sear Slicer Goblin and our Undead Sprinter, just because we're putting in Pyroclasm. Whereas the creatures that we are keeping in here, like for example, the Predator, the Forge, they avoid Pyroclasm, and Alicia can eventually avoid Pyroclasm, and then these guys don't mind dying at all. So let's try this. Okay, what does this hand look like? This looks like a turn 1 Infestation Sage into Vraan, into a possible Alicia or Forge. I think this is a keep. So this can be... oh, it looks like it is some form of removal spell, so let's just play a Infestation Sage, I think. And then turn 2, we can either do Vraan, or we do Forsaken Miner plus Eaten Alive if they give us something good to kill. Okay, I think they had Burst Lightning there. They just obviously don't think it's worth using on an Infestation Sage, and I do agree with them. So, they have a choice here, develop their board or not. Okay. Well, we're gonna do our Forsaken Miner here. I think the best way to do this is to sacrifice the Miner, because the Sage replaces itself. I think I'll actually sacrifice the Sage here. Yeah, so we don't get in for 1, and the good news is we have something that we can recur with Alicia next turn. Not that Alicia will likely survive here. Ah, okay, so Innkeeper's Talent plus maybe keeping up the Burst Lightning that they have. In that case, I think it's time for the Forge. Okay, well, we're gonna go with the Forge here. I still think they have Burst Lightning. So let's make it difficult for them to choose what to use it on. If they have Pick Your Poison, then they'll go against our Forge. But yeah, I don't know if they're just deciding what to use it on or trying to save it for later. Ah, going for a flyer. So this could mean a couple things. That they have something like Paw Patch formation to make sure they can kill our Predator if it comes down. But we don't have one. Okay, here's the Swift Spear. Ah, okay, it was a Pick Your Poison. That's okay. This means that we'll likely get in with the Forsaken Miner and then play Alicia. Ah, looks like they're going in on damage here. Okay. This is okay with us because this means we get to double spell here and return our Infestation Sage. So, let's get a raid trigger. Play this. And play this. Get back Infestation Sage. Alright. And then Vraan will be good, I think, once we have a sacrifice outlet. But also, I'll just play it if we got nothing else to do. So, I'm happy to chump block here. Okay, here comes a Lightning Strike. We will chump block here. We'll be taking 3 regardless. Okay, so they're out of spells. Okay, so we can Eaten Alive plus Vraan. So I'll play Vraan first. I'll attack with these two. And then I'll Eaten Alive, sacrificing a Forsaken Miner, and then we get it back because we committed a crime here. Alright, so they're low on resources. They'll probably level this up if they have nothing else to do. Okay, just the land. So it's going to be a level up. Then happy to chump here. If they don't attack, we'll just attack with our miners. Doesn't really matter. Okay, Dreams of Steel and Oil, unfortunately not good at this stage of the game. But because we get to target them, it is a way to get the Forsaken Miner back. So let's do this. Attack. Hit them for 3, and then hit them for an additional 2 because of Vraan. And then Dreams of Steel and Oil them, getting back our Forsaken Miner. And then I think we have lethal next turn. If they kill Vraan, they take 2. And then we have more than enough lethal. And there's no combination of cards that I can think of that could let them do 15 right now. This could be Questing Druid. Ah, get a food token. So they're effectively at 7. They can't attack here. Alright, and if I attack with everybody here, they just die because if they block Vraan, they lose 2 life. But we also just have to go for the throat, so it doesn't matter. Alright, that's game. Yeah, so you can see how the synergy of the deck's really great here. We have very resilient board state. Even them dealing with our Forge, our Alicia, and our Infestation Sage earlier, it puts a lot of pressure on the opponent to decide on a couple of things. One, do they go for our board, which is quite resilient, or do they use removal for our face and try and put a clock? And as you saw there on a very pivotal turn where they could have burst lightning our Forsaken Miner and prevented us from getting a raid, they instead went to our face. But I totally understand their game plan there. I think they just wanted to end the game early before all of our synergies were online. But yeah, we're able to pull through. Okay, next round. See you round 3. Okay, or round 3 here. This looks like a great keep. We got 1 drop into 2 drop into Forge. And they took 1 mulligan, it seems. Ooh, I think this is a really cool sleeve. Okay, Bushwhack. Okay, this could be the Otters deck. So we'll do Blackleaf Cliffs into Infestation Sage. Ah. Okay, well, we can double spell here by playing double Forsaken Miner. And then attack here. Next turn, we have the Forge. We also have nowhere to run if needed. We'll see, we'll see. Okay, so I think it's the Forge. It's just the more mana efficient play. Next turn, we can double spell. Let's see. We haven't seen much of our opponent's deck yet. Okay, it is Otters. So nowhere to run will be good, I think. And then I think we have to know where to run the Floodcaller. Okay. So there's a couple things that we can do here. We can do this first. And then we'll just attack. We'll apply pressure here to their life total. Okay. Waiting to see what they do here. Okay, I think now's the time to use nowhere to run on the Floodcaller then, right? Okay, they're at 4, and, well, we've got lots of lethal next turn. Okay. So, against Otters, we can be kind of crazy and bring in Massacre Worm, as weird as that sounds, just for the final reach. Okay. So if I go Massacre Worm and Duress as our things to try here, I think Eaten Alive is not the best against them. Anoint and Go for the Throat are good, but maybe... Okay, let me think about this. If I go low on the single target removal and go in with Pyroclasm and Massacre Worm for early and late game mass removal, and then use my early game to do discard. Okay, this is something that I haven't tried before, but we'll try it this time around. Okay, can't keep this, obviously. Okay, we'll keep this, and then we can put back a Massacre Worm or a land. I think I'll put back a land and then see if Massacre Worm's actually even something relevant in this matchup here. Okay, we do have a turn 2 play, so I'll go with Duress here. Okay, we got the other talent, that's good. And then this one, if they don't have a red source, we can Dreams of Steel and Oil it. Okay, which is what I think we'll do. Okay, so they need a red source. We'll have a Vraan next turn. So we can play this tap, and it looks like we might be able to get to the mana for Massacre Worm. Okay, they're just digging, I think. What do you call it? They missed. And I don't think I'll do anything else other than Fountain for it. We'll start making fish, which we can sacrifice. Okay. They level up just to get nothing. So probably just a really bad start for our opponent here. Ooh, and then we have Tarian's Journal. To draw a card here. Okay. Get to drain them for 2. And draw a card. Okay. No attacks. If they keep developing their board, we can Massacre Worm. If not, we can just keep creating stuff to sacrifice to Tarian's Journal here. Okay, they're getting a red source here. So this one currently gets them for 4. Yeah, this works. We take 4 damage here. And then this town ain't big enough? Ah, okay. Well, I'm gonna use the mana efficient play here and play Massacre Worm. They don't have a removal spell for it. I mean, yikes, we got another one. Here comes the big worm. And then pass. Next turn, we can either play another worm, and then they lose 4 life for every thing that they create. Yeah. I think we'll just do Restless Vents here. And then discard this one. Ooh, and then we got the Goblin. Yeah, I think this is just game. Yeah, there's no way they're coming back from this, I don't think. Okay. Yeah. This is just plenty ways of lethal. If we attack, they block this Massacre Worm, but they lose 2 life from it, and we had the Restless Vent, so yeah, it was just lethal. I mean, they had a kind of a very awkward start there. They mulligan, and we were able to get their Storm Chaser's talent plus their Questing Druid, and these represent a pretty good board state for them. And then our risk paid off, where we boarded in Massacre Worms, and we got the mana to cast them. Yeah, that's game. Alright, next round. Okay, round 4 here. Let's see. This is a Sear Slicer or a Terran's Journal into Forge. Okay, I think we'll keep this. Ooh, our opponent's playing black-red and has the lizard avatar. They might be a lizards deck. So we'll start with Residence here, and I think I'll start with the Journal because it works well with the Forge. Okay, it is a lizard stack. Very cool, very cool. Okay. So, I think it's better to just go for the throat this than play the Journal. Yeah, let's see. Depends what they do first main here. Okay, then if they're gonna go try and attack, I will go for the throat this. Okay, so we'll forge here. And then next turn we can double spell with Goblin and Journal. Or play Alicia. But Alicia I think is better once we have something in the graveyard to recur. Ooh, here comes a Hard Claw. I really love the Lizards deck. It's one of my favorite synergistic decks. I think it's also just what do you call it? It hits all the right cute buttons for me. Okay. Okay, this I think is pretty good for us because we're gonna have a lot of blockers. And they have a lot of one toughness stuff. Okay. So we'll attack here. They're unlikely to block, which means we can Tarian's Journal to draw a card. Okay, and then I think Mana Efficient Seer Slicer Goblin plus create a token here. Next turn, we can Alicia plus Infestation Sage if they kill the Goblin. Or if I block with the Goblin. Okay, I'll block with the token here. Looks like they get Go for the Throat and they can use it on our Goblin. Which makes sense, but we'll be able to get it back with Alicia. So not too worried about that. Okay, here comes Viashino Pyromancer. Okay, so we're gonna get Raid from the Forge, and I think we just do Infestation Sage plus Alicia. Yeah. Okay. So we sacrifice it to draw a card, see what our options are. Okay, another land is great there, but I think it doesn't change what we're trying to do. We're gonna go with Alicia plus Infestation Sage. Hoping to get something like Vraan or the Vengeful Blood Witch here so that we can start gaining life. Then I'm happy to block here and block here. Do we take 2? I think we don't mind it. I think we could also have blocked the Pyromancer with the Sage there. Okay. So next turn, we can finally play the Predator. And then we're attacking for 4. Ooh, scary. Okay, Undead Sprinter plus Forge. I think the Predator is still the better play here. We can also attack with Alicia. Let's see. May cast. Okay, so they can start casting our spells here. So I think we have to kind of go on the offense here. Okay. We'll attack with this, this, and this. No, let's leave this back. So we're going to the offense here because they have card advantage. Okay, they had to go for the throat here, and I think that is okay with us. They take 4 here. And then we're gonna go Immerstrom Predator. We can sacrifice this to draw a card. Ooh, Vengeful Blood Witch is great there. Okay, so this resolves. And then they get what? Forsaken Miner, Infestation Sage, and a Forge. Very cool. And they can only pick one or all of them. Oh, all of them. Very cool, very cool. So, Jasper Flint is a big target for us to kill here. Luckily, they didn't draw a removal spell. Okay, here comes the Forge. And thankfully, we're the ones with the Blood Witch coming in. Here comes a Pyromancer. Okay, that's all of their mana. What are they attacking with, though? Because we've got blocks. Okay. So if this is what they're doing here, we're going to go block here so that we finally kill the Hard Claw. Block here. And then we take 1 down to 5. This will attack for 2. They'll have this. They can draw land to play either of these. But I can save 1 life here. Okay, I think this is enough. Yeah. Okay, they'll go Swamp plus 1 of our spells here. Okay, good thing we have the Blood Witch. The question is, what do we pair it with? I think we'll go... Let's see, we're attacking for 4, 5 in the air, and then we're losing 1, 2. Okay, I think we have it. I think we have it. Okay, so it has to be Vengeful Blood Witch plus the Undead Sprinter here. And then we attack with everything. Yeah. They'll take damage, and then we currently have lethal by doing 5 in the air to them, plus we just need 5 creatures to die, which we can fuel with Immersion Predator, and then we can recast Sprinter to sacrifice it. Okay, so against them, we're going to do the same thing here and bring in Pyroclasm, as weird as it is, in our deck. And then Twisted Fealty, I think, would be quite good in there. Getting stuff like their Jasper and then sacrificing it. We can also use Untimely Malfunction or Massacre Worm. And then maybe, I don't think I'll go against their hand here. Maybe 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 I'll go against the because they have a lot of cards where they're just playing off the type of their library. Okay, so I'll keep in all of the single target removal. Bring in 2 Pyroclasm, which means Seer Slicer Goblin's not the best. Well, Undead Sprinter is something I'll cut before the Goblin. And then the question is, do I play Massacre Worm? I don't think so, not on the draw, but I will on the play. At least against them. And then Forsaken Miner is still good, I think. Yeah. We'll try this. We'll do a minimal sideboard here. Okay, so looking at this hand, I think this is a keep. We have removal spells. Plus, we've got stuff to develop our board with. Okay. We'll start with Blackleaf Cliffs and pass. Great that we drew a land there, so we can eventually cast Alicia. Okay, I don't mind playing out the Goblin here. We have a second copy, and if it dies, we can eventually recur it with Alicia. Okay, here's a cut down. Here's a lizard. Oh, okay. And I think I'll start with Vengeful Blood Witch here. It's a high priority target, and Vraan's just the better one, so let's let them use removal on this one. Hoping for another land here so we can double spell. Okay, they can Rock Face Village this, but I think we'll just okay, it's just a 3/2. Land? Okay. Eaten Alive. Not what I was looking for, but we'll just pass here and see what they play. I don't mind taking 2, really. And if they sacrifice this, that kind of saves us from, yeah, utilizing a removal spell. Oh, it's not sacrifice, sorry. This is the case. I think I will just go for the throw it. Yeah. Let's save some life here, and if they want to use it again, we'll see. Okay, so land heavy hand from our opponent here. Here's the Duress, which gets our Nowhere to Run or Eaten Alive. Hoping for another land again. Okay, not another land, so I think we'll go with... Yeah, let's go with the Vraan here. I don't want to play Alicia into a removal spell here, even if it's the more mana efficient play. I'd rather, if they kill something, we get it back with Alicia. So let's see if we can attack here. Okay, well, we can Alicia here, or I think I'm just gonna play Seer Slicer Goblin. I think they have removal, is what I'm feeling here. Okay, so we correctly assumed that they had removal, but now we can guarantee ourselves getting a raid here. And then we always have the reset button of Pyroclasm if they go crazy with their board. Okay, and then I'm just going to keep playing out our things that we don't mind dying here. And then Alicia is going to be a card that we do when we're getting behind. But it looks like our opponent is just drawing too many lands here, unfortunately for them. Okay, I'm going to Terran's Journal into draw a card and drain them for 1. Okay, and then I'll just pass here. We've got lethal already developing here in the board, so no need to play Alicia. And they have this anyway. This deals a lot of damage to them, I believe. 4 damage? Okay. And then we'll play Vengeful Blood Witch, keeping up Anoint here. Just making it really awkward for them to use their removal spells. Yep, no problem. Okay. We will anoint that. Pay 2 life, right? Okay. Well, now we'll Alicia. Ah, and they don't have removal anymore, at least at instant speed. And we might be able to get raid here safely. Yeah, that's just game. What we'd have done there if this was just nothing is we would attack, bring back Vengeful Blood Witch, and then sacrifice the Blood Witch to deal the last point of damage. Alright, nice. Quick 4-0 here. Let's see if we can get the 5-0. And I'll see you at the final boss. Okay, final boss here. What do we have? I think this is a keep. Yeah. We can turn 1 Restless Vents, skip playing the Infestation Sage, and then turn 2 keep up Anoint or play the Sear Slicer Goblin. Oh, it looks like our opponent mulliganed twice there. Unfortunate for them. Oh, but because we drew the Cliffs here, we're going to start with the Sage, and then turn 2 hopefully get a Raid Trigger. Ooh, Esper Colors. I don't think I've played against this. Very cool. Alright, we'll do our game plan here. Playing out the Goblin. Next turn, we can play Restless Vents and Terran's Journal. So I'm wondering if this is like a control strategy. They have a lot of surveillance. Okay. So let's attack here. Looks like they didn't have anything to play there. So I'll just play the Journal and draw a card here. Let's go with the Sage. Okay. So they have an Overlord. This could be... I'm not quite sure what this could be, but it looks like they might have a... Oh, Domain. Okay, okay. Alright, so against Domain, do we do Alicia or Predator? They're far from casting Sunfall, so the fastest clock is Predator. But the most synergy is Alicia? No, I think the fastest clock is what we'll go for here. So attack for 3, play Predator, and then we have 5 mana next turn to double spell if needed. Ooh, here comes Azur. Thankfully, we have an Anoint. Tap, Fountain Port, Anoint. They still don't have Sunfall. So, we'll attack here. Okay, so this is a Zur Overlords deck. And then we'll play Alicia here to get back our Infestation Sage. Okay. They still have Leyline Binding available in terms of getting rid of the Predator. Okay, destroy all tapped creatures. Well, we'll sacrifice this to make it indestructible. And they're dead. Okay, against them, I think our discard will be good. I think their biggest threat is Zur initially. So these can be good, but it's sorcery speed. Anoint will keep, and Go for the Throat will keep. Nowhere to Run doesn't kill their Zur outright, but it does remove the hexproof that that Zur gives to their overlords. But we'll take care of. We'll remove them for now, and then bring in our discard. I think Dreams of Steel and Oil and Duress will be good against them. Untimely Malfunction can get artifacts and also change the target of Leyline Binding. Right? Exile target an opponent control, so it's not even good against them. Okay, let's start here. One thing we can also consider is Twisted Fealty. I think we will play that instead of the Sprinter, just to get their Overlord. All right, let's try this. Okay, game 2. This is a turn 1 Dreams. We can also turn 1 Minor, and then turn 2 Dreams. Yeah, I think I'll do turn 1 Minor. That way, we have an attacker next time. This could be a Beanstalk. Yep. Okay, let's see what they have in their hand then. Let's see. Dreams of Steel and Oil. Yeah. This is just, I think, the best way to go about it. And then the most problematic card here is the Overlord, and they don't have the double blue for this one. Okay, so let's get this. And then, because they have split up, I think we're just gonna make sure we get the Forge next turn. So I'm gonna play Restless Vents there instead of the Miner. Okay, they have split up available and Leyline Binding. Leyline Binding currently costs what? Oh, these are not lands that tap for... these are not lands with basic land type. So let's go Forge here. And then pass here. Split up's not very good now, but if they have another land... Oh, here we go. They can Beza. But the Leyline Binding still costs 5. Okay, here's Beza. But we can go for the Throat it. And then play Forsaken Miner. Attack for 4 here. And then hoping to draw more discard spells, actually. Okay, they finally have the mana for Leyline Binding, which they can use on the Forge. Right? So, let's get a trigger from the Forge. I think they wanted to Leyline Binding in our upkeep there. Yeah. So there goes our Forge. We still get to do 6 damage here. And then I will Dreams of Steel and Oil them now to get their Flood Pits. And then, do we play Terran's Journal or Seer Slicer Goblin? If we play Seer Slicer Goblin, we get another token, so I think that's the way to go. It's not over yet. They still have Get Lost plus Split Up to get rid of the majority of our board. Then they can use this to copy something. Okay, and then here's a Get Lost on the Slicer. Oh, but we got a Alicia here. Nice. And then, well, we're gonna get back the goblin here. And then they're likely gonna copy a leyline binding here to get the Alicia. I think. Depends on what they have here. Oh, okay. But we have a go for the throat for this, so I'm not sure if this was their best. Oh, never mind. They just gave us our win condition. Alright. Very nice. Oh, and that was the final boss, right? Yeah. Hell yeah. 5-0. Very nice. So, really good showcase of our deck here, especially after our first iteration of optimizing the list here. So, very nice. So, we got 1,000 gems, 3 packs, and 4 playing points. Very cool. Let's look at the deck again. And there you have it, guys. We got a 5-0 undefeated run in the traditional standard event. This first round of optimization was focused on finding card count in terms of how many lands are we playing, how many interaction are we playing, and how many slots in the deck are we dedicating to the core synergy. The next time I'm going to do optimization, it's going to be different because I'm going to be focusing on card count in the sense of card copies. You know, a lot of these cards, you'll notice there's no 4-ofs, and that's by design. That is because I really just want to test out various dimensions that the Rakdos colors can offer us. You know, a lot of these cards we're testing today, like Vraan and Undead Sprinter, I'm starting to gain impressions on them. Like, I really like Vraan. But where you eventually want to make your list into is something more consistent. And you can only really do that once you have 4 copies of stuff. So that's what I'll spend the next optimization exercise on. And yeah, just super happy that we performed really well in the deck here. Very few mulligans, I think, due to our efforts in optimizing the card counts here. And we're able to use our sideboard quite effectively here. You saw the power of this card, and I was quite happy to see the power of Massacre Worm as well. And then obviously, as weird as it is, Pyroclasm had its uses, as well as Twisted Fealty to get our final win there from the final boss. And then although I didn't get to use it today, Untimely Malfunction is just a great sideboard card. In fact, that it offers a lot of different modes. You know, there are problematic artifacts out there, like the Leyline Axe or the Collector's Cage. And then it's just really good in terms of catching people off guard, changing the target of spells, or making things unable to block this turn. So, really happy with our performance here today. Thank you so much for joining us here in this Rakdos journey here. Gonna continue the optimization, eventually gonna see what I can do with it in the ladder, and once it's in a more competitive shell here, I'm just gonna see if I can maybe join a tournament with it. We'll see. Really enjoying the Rakdos deck here. So thank you guys, thank you so much. Drop a like, drop a comment, would love a subscription if you feel inclined to. Just would really help my channel grow. And hey, nevertheless, just happy you're here. Just really thankful that you're here. All right, guys. Once again, all I can say is have a great day.